Humanitarian aid refers to the material and logistical assistance provided to people in need, usually during times of crisis such as natural disasters, wars, or famines. This form of aid aims to alleviate suffering and maintain human dignity by offering resources like food, water, shelter, and medical care. The development of humanitarian aid has a rich historical context, evolving from informal charitable efforts to structured international missions. Understanding its evolution is essential to appreciate the roles played by pioneering figures and movements in shaping today's humanitarian landscape. Humanitarian aid's significance lies in its profound impact on saving lives and rebuilding communities. It reflects a global commitment to empathy and solidarity, transcending political and geographical boundaries. For instance, the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, founded in 1863, embodies this ideal by providing impartial aid to victims of armed conflict and natural disasters worldwide. Another notable example is the work of Clara Barton, who founded the American Red Cross in 1881, bringing organized and systematic approaches to disaster response within the United States. Proponents of humanitarian aid argue that it is essential for promoting peace and stability in vulnerable regions, as it addresses immediate needs and helps lay the groundwork for long-term development. However, challenges and controversies often accompany these efforts. Critics highlight issues such as dependency, where prolonged aid may stifle local initiatives and self-reliance. Moreover, the delivery of aid can be hindered by bureaucratic inefficiencies, corruption, and political agendas, leading to misallocation of resources. Alternative viewpoints suggest that humanitarian aid should be closely integrated with development aid to tackle root causes of crises rather than merely addressing symptoms. There is also a growing emphasis on involving affected communities in decision-making processes to ensure that aid is culturally sensitive and locally relevant. This historical understanding connects to the broader theme of humanitarian aid by emphasizing the importance of learning from past experiences to improve future responses. It highlights how early pioneers and organizations set foundational principles that continue to guide modern humanitarian efforts. By tracing the evolution of aid, we gain insight into how these efforts have influenced international policies and collaboration, shaping a more coordinated approach to crisis management. Ultimately, the development of humanitarian aid underscores the ongoing need to adapt and innovate in the face of new global challenges. The concept introduced in the heading, Pioneering Figures in Humanitarian Aid, Contributions of Clara Barton, centers around understanding how certain individuals have shaped and advanced the field of humanitarian aid. Clara Barton stands out as a pivotal figure, not only for her actions, but also for how those actions laid the groundwork for modern humanitarian efforts. Known as the Angel of the Battlefield, Barton played a crucial role during the American Civil War, providing medical care and supplies to soldiers. Her relentless dedication led to the founding of the American Red Cross in 1881, an organization that continues to be a cornerstone of global humanitarian aid today. The significance of Clara Barton's contributions lies in her innovative approach to addressing immediate human needs in times of crisis. Before Barton's influence, organized aid was less common, and systems to effectively deliver such help were inadequate at best. Her work demonstrated the immense impact that organized, compassionate assistance could have, thereby setting a precedent for future humanitarian efforts. For instance, the American Red Cross under her leadership not only provided emergency assistance during disasters, but also laid the foundation for volunteerism in humanitarian work, a concept that has been adopted worldwide. Two specific examples vividly illustrate Barton's influence. Firstly, her work during the Civil War showcased the importance of structured medical assistance on the battlefield, which directly improved survival rates and set standards for future military medical care. Secondly, the establishment of the American Red Cross served as a blueprint for other national and international humanitarian organizations, demonstrating the power of structured aid and volunteer mobilization in addressing human suffering during disasters and wars. Supporters of Barton and her methods argue that her pioneering spirit and organizational skills created a more compassionate and responsive society capable of addressing vast humanitarian needs. However, some critics point out potential challenges, such as the militarization of aid, or the risk of organizations like the Red Cross being perceived as extensions of the governments with which they collaborate. Others debate the ethical implications of aid, questioning whether it always respects the autonomy and culture of those it aims to help. Barton's contributions are inextricably linked to the broader narrative of humanitarian aid, influencing countless other movements and individuals who have followed in her footsteps. Her legacy underscores the importance of organized humanitarian response and continues to inspire ongoing efforts to refine and expand aid strategies to meet the evolving needs of a complex global landscape. Her story exemplifies how individual passion and leadership can catalyze systemic change, illustrating the profound impact of pioneering figures in the realm of humanitarian aid. The formation and impact of the Red Cross movement represents a pivotal chapter in the history of humanitarian aid, characterized by its commitment to providing impartial assistance to those in need, regardless of nationality, race, or political belief. The Red Cross movement was founded in 1863 by Henry Dunant, a Swiss businessman, after he witnessed the aftermath of the Battle of Solferino and the lack of adequate care for wounded soldiers. This led to the establishment of a set of principles focused on humanitarian aid, with the ethos of neutrality and voluntary service at its core, which are still upheld by the movement today. The significance of the Red Cross movement in the context of humanitarian aid cannot be overstated. It has been instrumental in shaping modern humanitarian efforts and has set standards for global response to crises, both in times of war and peace. Its founding principles influenced the development of international humanitarian laws, including the Geneva Conventions, which delineate the rights of wartime non-combatants and the obligations of those providing aid. One real-world application of the Red Cross movement's impact can be seen in its response to natural disasters. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, IFRC, coordinates emergency relief efforts worldwide, offering aid and support to millions affected by hurricanes, earthquakes, and tsunamis. Another example is during conflicts. The International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, works tirelessly to provide medical care, reunite families, and protect detainees' rights. These efforts underscore the movement's enduring commitment to alleviate human suffering. Supporters of the Red Cross movement argue that its impartial approach and extensive global network make it uniquely effective at delivering aid where it's most needed. They also praise its ability to adapt to emerging challenges in humanitarian aid, such as climate change and new forms of violence. However, the movement faces challenges, including funding constraints and the complexities of operating in politically sensitive environments. There have been controversies over its ability to remain neutral, particularly in regions where political tensions are high, raising questions about the feasibility of its core principles in some contemporary conflicts. The Red Cross movement's legacy and principles continue to influence other humanitarian organizations, inspiring cooperation and laying the groundwork for international collaborative efforts. Its existence underscores the interconnected nature of humanitarian aid, where historical movements shape current practices and future innovations, furthering the mission to provide relief and promote human dignity worldwide. The growth and diversification of humanitarian efforts worldwide refers to the expansive evolution and broadening scope of humanitarian aid activities across the globe. Initially concentrated on immediate relief during conflicts or natural disasters, humanitarian efforts have progressively diversified to address a multitude of challenges, including long-term development, healthcare, education, and human rights advocacy. This growth signifies a shift from mere emergency response to a holistic approach, encompassing prevention, sustainable development, and resilience building in communities. This diversification is pivotal because it reflects an adaptive response to the complex and interconnected problems of our age. Recognizing that crises are often multifaceted and require comprehensive strategies. Expanding beyond the traditional model, the diversification of efforts highlights a deeper understanding of the root causes of vulnerability and a commitment to fostering social justice and equity. This evolution is crucial in crafting more sustainable and impactful solutions, ultimately enhancing the ability to meet diverse needs across different cultural and geographical contexts. Real-world examples illustrate this growth. The work of Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, exemplifies the combination of emergency medical aid with advocacy and long-term health interventions, addressing both immediate needs and structural health inequities. Similarly, the efforts of organizations like Oxfam have broadened from famine relief to a broader agenda, including poverty alleviation, gender equality, and climate change adaptation, showcasing the myriad directions in which humanitarian aid is extending its reach. Supporters of this diversified approach argue, and that it fosters resilience and self-sufficiency among affected populations, ultimately leading to lasting positive change. However, challenges arise in coordinating such expansive efforts, often involving complex logistics, cultural sensitivities, and political factors. Critics may point to instances where aid can inadvertently perpetuate dependency or undermine local economies, emphasizing the need for careful implementation and collaboration with local stakeholders. The growth and diversification of humanitarian efforts are intricately connected to key figures and movements in the field. Just as Clara Barton and the founding of the Red Cross represented a pivotal expansion and formalization of emergency response systems, today's diversified efforts are a continuation of that legacy, underscoring a commitment to evolve in response to global needs. This growth is both a reflection of and a catalyst for the ongoing transformation in the humanitarian sector, where the ultimate goal remains to alleviate suffering and build a more equitable world for all.